See, to presidential historian. I love having him on. You can always get the big picture. David Pietrusza. David, obviously, this is a signal about how big a deal the Queen's passing was and is to the world. And I'm just wondering, I mean, in terms of the magnitude of this event and who's going, you might have to go all the way back to John Kennedy's funeral after his assassination. I mean, virtually every head of state made it there. Of course, that was sudden and unprepared for, but this might be a bit of a different case. But what do you think?
Well, these things are hit and miss, and it's really hit and miss in regard to our funeral attendance in regard to the United Kingdom, where Obama really kind of dissed our attendance at Margaret Thatcher's funeral. And you wouldn't believe it, but with Winston Churchill, Lyndon Johnson did not attend. He had a cold, of all things. He did not send Hubert Humphrey. He sent Earl Warren, then apologized. Maybe the closest analogy would be in 1910, when Edward VII died, and 9 crowned heads of Europe attended, but also so did Theodore Roosevelt, who was an ex-president and who just happened to be gallivanting around the world on an African safari and swung by Europe on his way home. And then William Howard Taft said, "Hey, can you stand in for me?" Interesting.
So when presidents or prime ministers, leaders of countries decide on this, they oftentimes take their cue from other leaders. So if the President of the United States is saying, "I'm going," what happens after that?
Oh, I think you're going to see a mini summit, and it's a logical thing that which will happen in that case, and then everyone can get to meet and there's a bonus points being awarded here, because not only do you get to meet the new king, you get to meet the new prime minister.
Right.
So this is really a double whammy sort of thing going on.
You know, we've been talking, David, a lot about the unique situation with Queen Elizabeth II, in power for better than 70 years, more than any, elected or unelected leader anywhere on the planet. And she has managed that and that incredible historic rule without a great deal of controversy. The whole incident with Princess Diana notwithstanding, she seemed to remain and died remaining above the fray. The only possible comparison I can make is maybe with the Pope, but even there, that generates heat within even Catholic circles. But I'm wondering, because of that, is this a very different event on that level alone?
We're looking at someone who did stand above the fray and did it brilliantly. I mean, there are people who could not answer questions or not take a position publicly and look very bad about it. But she was merely gracious. She was a great person, and the way she served for those 70 years reminds me of a motto of an American, not a president, but Douglas MacArthur, who in his farewell address at West Point raised the banner of duty, honor, country. And that was what she did, and did it so well. As one of the commentators was saying the other day, she was the last adult in an age where people just keep shooting their mouth off on Twitter from one side or the other or both sides. She knew enough to not do that, to know what her role was and to know what her duty was, and she did it so well.
I always wonder if Douglas MacArthur had access to Twitter, what he would have said about Harry Truman and fired him. But we'll never know. We'll never know. David, thank you so much. I enjoy getting your perspective.
Thank you.